what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Hey guys, welcome to another Destiny video. Today we're taking a look at my favorite hand cannon, the Lord High Fixer, and seeing how it stacks up against other popular hand cannons like the AS Luna and the Palindrome. So let's just jump right into it and have a look at the base stats. The Lord High Fixer of course has a rate of fire stat of 22 and impact of 81, the exact same as Palindrome and AS Luna, meaning you can 3-shot kill other Guardians with 1 headshot and 2 body shots. The base range stat is quite solid at 35, which is slightly lower than Palindrome, but with Rifle Barrel it still maxes out at 59, which is a very respectable range stat. It also has 36 stability, which can potentially be maxed out at 81. While I don't think stability is super important on hand cannons, it's definitely an option if you prefer stability over range. It also has a reload speed of 37, which is average for hand cannons, and a magazine size of 10, which, once again, pretty normal for this archetype. Moving on to hidden stats, the aim assistance is either 65 or 70 depending on which sight you use. Both Sure Shot and True Sight will bump your aim assist up to 70, whereas all other sights don't affect aim assist at all. The recoil direction stat of 90 is quite solid and makes the recoil very manageable even without an increase to stability. It does however have a somewhat lackluster equip speed of 41, but with every single sight available providing a boost to this stat, you will effectively always have an equip speed of somewhere between 49 and 56. The low base equip speed stat may seem like a big weakness, but hand cannons in general handle much faster than other primary weapon types, so a low equip speed stat is not necessarily a big deal. I certainly have never had any problems when using this gun on my Gunslinger or my Titan for that matter, it handles just fine. So all the stats on this weapon are pretty solid, but really nothing more than that. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much edged out by the Palindrome in every single category. So why do I like this gun so much even though it's pretty much outclassed by the Palindrome? Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, my shot just seems crispier when I use this hand cannon. That's most likely just because I'm used to how it feels, I know how the gun responds in different situations. It's quite similar to how many people prefer the AS Luna over the Palindrome, even though the Palindrome is statistically superior. If you're used to how the gun feels, the stats are somewhat irrelevant. Another factor that can play into preference is aesthetics of a gun. Now, some of you may be thinking, what the hell is this moron talking about? Aesthetics have no influence on how the gun performs. And you're right, but I know that I personally like it when my gun looks good, and I even know a couple of people who refuse to use the Palindrome because it's an ugly gun. And while Lord High Fixer may not be the prettiest gun in the game, I do think it looks better than both Palindrome and AS Luna. And with that said, back to stats. It's not like there's a massive difference between the stats of Palindrome and Lord High Fixer. They're basically within 5 stat points of each other in all categories, which is hardly a big difference. This means that perks become the determining factor of which one performs better, and I happen to have a God roll on my Lord High Fixer. My roll has True Sight, which is my preferred sight, it has Hot Swap, the choice between Rifle Barrel and Braced Frame, and lastly it has Icarus, which in my opinion is the most important perk on a hand cannon, boosting the in-air accuracy quite a bit. My roll is pretty damn near perfect. The only thing I would change is having either Rangefinder or Outlaw, or maybe even Rescue Mag instead of Hot Swap. But Hot Swap is still a solid perk, it basically boosts your aim assist for a few seconds after swapping. This was a much bigger deal before patch 2.5.0.2, as it basically eliminated Phantom Bullets. But since Phantom Bullets aren't really a thing anymore, it's not as strong to have Hot Swap anymore, but it's still in the top 3 or 4 best perks available in that column. Rifle Barrel and Icarus of course need no introduction. Icarus boosts the already great in-air accuracy of a hand cannon, and Rifle Barrel will push the damage drop-off out by roughly 4 meters, which may not sound like a lot, but in-game I definitely feel the difference. And on top of that, I'm just so used to controlling the recoil when running Rifle Barrel that I just don't feel the need for Braced Frame. I might as well get that extra bit of range. Combine all these perks and I have a hand cannon with incredible stats that handles extremely well in the air. Note that Destiny Item Manager does not take into account that sights change the hidden stats, so my hand cannon actually has 70 aim assist and an equip speed of 49, even though this picture does not show it. Is there room for improvement with this roll? Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, I would prefer another perk instead of Hot Swap, since this perk no longer is as effective as it was before the patch. Some people may prefer Sure Shot over True Sight. There's really not a big difference between these sights. As mentioned earlier, they both boost the aim assist stat by 5, however True Sight gives you slightly better boost to stability, whereas Sure Shot improves handling and reload speed a little bit more than True Sight does. Either way, the differences that these sights make is really minor. Not having either of these sights is not a deal breaker on any hand cannon. In the middle column, it doesn't really get any better. I think the vast majority of players will want either braced frame or rifled barrel on their hand cannon. But in the final perk slot, I could definitely see some people preferring other perks than Icarus. For me, Icarus is perfect. I like to jump around a lot when I'm playing, I like making vertical approaches and trying to catch people off guard by playing really aggressively when they least expect it. This is especially effective now that shotguns are much less common in the Crucible. But if you prefer having your boots on the ground during a gunfight, you may want to look for Luck in the Chamber, Reactive Reload, or even a perk like Grenadier or Army of One, both of which provide some very underrated utility. All of these perks are very strong, and Reactive Reload in particular can be god tier when combined with Outlaw. In fact, I have that exact roll on my Finalis Peril, and it shreds. Another decent perk is Hidden Hand, but you should definitely keep in mind that Hidden Hand does not stack with True Sight or Sure Shot. At least not if we believe the popular databases like Planet Destiny and Destiny Database, that all say that the aim assist caps out at 70, meaning that both Sure Shot and True Sight will cap out your aim assist and Hidden Hand will actually not increase it any further. And this is of course the case for all hand cannons, so you may want to consider running a different sight if you have Hidden Hand on your hand cannon. Pro tip right there. Anyway, just to recap, the Lord High Fixer, there's really nothing about it that makes it stand out from the Palindrome, but the stats are pretty similar, which means given the right roll, this hand cannon can absolutely compete at the highest levels. It's a solid hand cannon in every single way. It can almost max out the range, it has decent stability, decent recoil direction, easily manageable recoil, nothing not to like about it. So that's it for me guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will catch you on my next video.